The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management.
This is the Stockwell Roueche Show, giving you real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Josh Roueche.
Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Twin Cities. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And Josh Roueche, Remax Advantage Plus.
This is the Stockwell Roueche Show every Sunday at 10 a.m. I wanted to start off with our loyal listeners out there, for you listening out there, with an apology for last week. We were supposed to run this show last week. However, we had a couple of illnesses. Both of the hosts.
Yes,
I was
actually.
very ill. Got caught with something.
And I had it right after New Year's, yeah.
And we were unable to do the show we wanted to do, so we reran a show, which was very funny. So for the loyal listeners out there, I know there's thousands of you out there. Well, not thousands, but maybe.
There's lots of you guys out there.
For you loyal listeners out there, I apologize. We will do the show today that you've been waiting for. There's been a lot of hype about it, a lot of talk about it. Lack of housing for the aging population. There is actually a problem out there. We do not have the housing supply available for the aging population that we have that's coming into the retirement age, if you will, or they're downsizing, the term is used, right-sizing, I don't know, whatever the terms are, that's what there's a lack of housing for. So with us today, we have Robin Hartle with Remax Results.
Thank you,
Robin, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We had a very successful home show
Yes.
expo,
That was fun.
right?
We did have a very successful
The
home
show went off without a hitch from there. It was great.
It's awesome.
We had some people in the audience.
Yep.
We actually had clients in the audience that were actually closing. They closed this last week.
Yeah.
That was Bruce and Mary Kay, who are awesome people. Thank you, Bruce and Mary Kay.
Fabulous.
You are maybe our loyal listeners,
Love
I
them.
hope.
Kiss, kiss.
We have Ben, Ben Nelson, Farmers Insurance. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Staying warm.
Trying to. It's cold out there.
And we have, of course, Lisa Swanson, Envoy Mortgage, great partner. Lisa,
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy
Oh,
New
so
Year.
good. It's cold outside, though.
Are you doing good because the rates are great right now, I've heard?
And they're getting better, too.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm doing
So let's
good.
dive right into it.
Okay.
Activity. Let's do an update on activity quickly. Lisa, I talked to you, I think, yesterday a little bit, and you said that this is one of the busiest post-New Year's Day type inquiries and calls and people, right, that you've seen in a long time?
Yeah, I'd say for at least 3 to 4 years. Number one, because rates just totally dipped right after the new year. As a matter of fact, an average interest rate was like 3.7, went down to 3.6 on a 30-year loan. On a 15-year loan, we went all the way down to like a flat 3%. So not only are we seeing so much activity with new buyers getting excited about 2015 and the inventory, but also a lot of refinances. So many folks really want to take advantage of those new low interest rates.
So the rates are great.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on in the mortgage industry right now and with Envoy Mortgage?
I guess
Not necessarily with Envoy Mortgage, but I mean, what's going on overall? I know we talked about an overall
Yeah.
thing that could be happening with Mr. Obama.
Yes. Well, he just met on Thursday in Phoenix with this big announcement about how he was supporting a reduction of private mortgage insurance for FHA, which is an extremely popular first-time homebuyer loan. The downfall of that loan was that it was very, very expensive for consumers. So it was much easier to qualify for than your traditional conventional loan, but it was very expensive. And so this announcement is big news for first-time homebuyers. So that coupled with the low interest rates, as well as the other product that I think we had spoke about as well, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are also coming out with a 3% down conventional loan program,
Yes.
which is inexpensive. And now you have the benefit of a very low down payment. So it's really just opening up so many opportunities
Well,
for
that's
new
great.
home buyers.
That's awesome. I think that's one of the factors I think FHA actually did drop that is to compete with that product.
I think that's a good point.
With
Yeah,
conventional
absolutely.
at that 3%. So that's great for the home buyers out there. There's some great opportunity for you to actually go
Wonderful
out and buy
news
a
for the
house.
home buyers. And for all you silver foxes out there and all the seniors,
Silver
you're wondering,
foxes.
why does this matter to me? I'm not going to do FHA. Well, it matters because those are the people that will be buying either your home or they'll be buying the home before the person who buys your home. It's a cycle or a chain. And you need that bottom chain, if you will, or that first time buyer.
It opens
to
up the
start
inventory.
process.
Such a good point.
Yep.
Sure.
Opens
So
up
that
the
all
inventory.
these things are good news for the market and for the buyers that are coming into the market to give them the ability to buy. Lisa Swanson, if you have any questions for Lisa Swanson, please reach out to her. 612-990-2271, 612-990-2271. And Lisa Swanson with Donovan Mortgage. Any other information or anything else you wanted to add?
Well,
anybody?
I just want to add my NMLS number, which
Okay.
is my 261955, which is my identifying criteria to establish the fact that I'm licensed, that I've taken my education, that I've done my background checks, that which is something that's very unique to lenders that work with a mortgage company as opposed to a bank. If you do work for a bank as a loan officer, one doesn't necessarily have to have their own NMLS number because they're under the umbrella of that larger bank. So, it's important to always mention that number because it identifies me as well as my resume. And then I think there's a lot of value because of the education piece and the experience that it takes in order to get that license number.
And I just want to say, Lisa, you rock. We were working with a first-time home buyer that I just started working with yesterday. And he called me. I just started talking to him yesterday, and I said, you need to get pre-qualified. You need to talk to Lisa. He talked to Lisa, and by the time I showed him a property last night, he was already pre-qualified with
Nice.
Lisa.
Yes,
Awesome.
Lisa Swanson, Avoid Mortgage. She's experienced. You've been doing mortgages for 10 years, 12 years. How many?
Yeah, 12 pretty much.
612-990-2271. Give her a shout. If you have any questions about housing, interest rates, refinancing, you name it, she'll be able to help you. Now, you're listening to the Stockwell Roueche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Josh Roueche, RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
And we are talking today, we're going to get into the lack of housing for the aging population. I'm looking at Robin Hartle, actually, with RE/MAX Results and former host of Home Time with Dean Johnson, has some information as well that she'll be diving into. Oh, sorry, Josh. First, market statistics on the actual market. Let's
Let's
into
go over
that.
those
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick. Let's
Housing numbers. What's happening with supply of housing?
From this time last year, we're seeing everything's actually down. We're seeing 13.5% change in new listings from today's date from last year. We're seeing the change in pending sales down 9.8%. And then we're also seeing the change in inventory down 4.4%.
So
one of
everything
the
is down.
interesting statistics I was looking up is our inventory, which we're talking about kind of on today's show.
Yep.
Right now, we've got an inventory of 13,000 homes that are on the market. And I went on MLS. I did an MLS search of single-family living on one level with all facilities on that for those seniors moving up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's only 1,500 homes available for them to move into.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's 11% of the inventory that we have right now are single-level, all facilities on one level for our older generation.
And I can totally attest to that because right now my in-laws are downsizing. They have a 3,000 plus square foot home that's 2-story that they're going to be selling, and they are going to be downsizing. They're looking for one level, and they have been looking seriously. I am not lying, for 2 years. 2 years they're looking for one level townhome.
Right.
And we have been
There's-
struggling.
We're struggling as a market.
Well, they are. So you're telling me that's more than I thought. So that's good news that there's 1,500 available. The bad news of that is, of those 1,500, that's not a lot of houses when you break it down over the whole
right,
Twin Cities.
right.
You're talking the Twin Cities Metro.
Yeah.
So the whole Twin Cities Metro, 1,500, and not to mention that you have everything on one level, but there's other things that matter. Okay,
Right.
how many bedrooms do you have? Where is it located? There's a lot of other criteria that have to fall into that could weed that 1,500 down to 10,
Right.
or
Oh,
5,
yeah.
or into your
It just
your
goes
area.
to show the
So-
lack of inventory we really
Yeah.
truly do have for our older citizens that are moving up, either downsizing or moving into the city.
Yeah.
Josh, on a positive note, may I ask, so those 1,500 homeowners that have that single level family home, I mean, are they going to be able to make substantial more profits than they would previously? I mean, are those considered now mansions and they can ask $50,000 more on a sales price?
I just did a simple search on MLS right now to find out exactly how many single level homes are on the market and they're active on the marketplace. I didn't do a price range check. I didn't do any of that. But as far as what's out there right now in the Twin City Metro on
Wow.
single family,
So they may be at a premium, though.
Right.
I just
They are.
came from Egan. Actually, we're in Egan, but I was in Egan earlier. over off of Lemieux, which is off of Pilot Knob. And anyway, they're doing some building over there, and they're single level, one level living. They have one bedroom on the main level only, and they have 2 bedrooms in the basement. And they are selling, and they are selling
They're
quickly,
selling fast,
and they're under construction. They are at $489 for a house, which, you know, I'm in the business. I look at it, I look at the size, I look at what's in it and the offerings. No offense to whoever's building it. I think it's not worth $489. However, it's selling for that because that's a demand issue. That's a demand
right?
that people want
demand.
that style of home. They have the means to do that style of home, and that's what's going on. So there's clearly a lack of inventory. But when you see them building it, with that being said, that means some people are out there trying to fulfill that demand, which is great. 2 projects that I am working with Greater Metropolitan Housing on, if you've heard of Greater Metropolitan Housing Corporation, they are doing 2 projects, one in Roseville, which will have 6 or 7 units that are all on one level, brand new construction, going up this year, 2015, right around the $350 price range. And then we will have also in Richfield, 6 units that'll be between the 275 to 350 or 360, something in that price range. And we don't have pricing on it yet. But they'll be one level, and they'll be about, 2,300, 2,500 square feet, depending upon how they're finished. Finished basements, garages, everything like that. So give us a call if you have questions about any of those issues or those properties or any other properties. You can call us at 651-400-0773, 651-400-0773. And those will be available this 2015 to help fulfill some of that demand that's out there. But there's definitely a lot more demand out there. So
And demand for housing that you don't have to mow, you don't have to shovel.
Right.
All of those amenities for that aging population. Grab bars, wide hallways, all of those kind of things. The lever handles.
Yeah.
Those,
they still have the freedom. So you still want the freedom to live, but you also want the convenience and the not having to climb the steps.
That's right.
And the main thing is the steps factor.
Yeah.
So you're listening to the the Stockwell Roueche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with
first name
Remax
in there.
Results.
Josh Roueche, Remax
The
Advantage
Jason
Plus.
Stockwell Josh Roueche Show. That might be quite long. We'll be back, and stay warm out there. We're talking about the lack of housing for the aging population, and we have a lot more information when we come back.
You never take advice. Someday you'll pay the price. I know. Cold never bothered me anyway. Standing frozen.
Frozen. Welcome back to the Stockwell Roueche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell. It's Remax Results.
Josh Roueche, Remax Advantage Plus.
I have been frozen for about a week.
What song is that? I'm interested in what song is that? I like that.
You do?
Yeah, it's Frozen.
That's Let It Go, but by a different group.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Thanks.
No wonder I
Chris
thought I
pipes in.
heard
I
that.
like it.
Yeah, we
Love it.
listened to that. I've heard that song number of times at my house. But
Is that the Frozen TV show or the
movie.
Movie
Frozen.
Frozen.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's cold out there. So, and we got to get on to talk with Ben Nelson real quick with Farmers Insurance. Ben, how you doing? Are you staying warm?
I'm trying to. It's tough. Our house doesn't heat very well.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's horrible. I'm like on the end of the exchange in my room, so
yeah.
everything is just freezing. I woke up the other day and it was like 58 in there.
Hey, that's good sleeping weather.
It is.
It's great sleeping
It is,
weather.
but it's hard to get out of bed
Yeah,
when
you
it's
don't
that
want to
cold.
get out. Right?
Yeah, really.
So, Ben, what can you tell us about, getting insurance or what, obviously people that are buying houses, if you're downsizing, upsizing, or whatever, you need insurance on your home. What are some tips that you can give us real quick? And then you have any other recommendations?
Well, the first thing, especially when you're buying, is make sure that you have ample coverage. You don't want to just get through closing and have a small premium because you don't have your house covered right. Make sure that you're covered right. We can get a binder out quick. It doesn't take long at all to do that.
How quick?
the 10 to 15 minutes to get it done
That's quick.
accurately.
That's Jimmy John's quick. No endorsement given, but that's Jimmy John's quick.
That's Jay John's quick.
Yeah, we can get it done quick just because the systems that we have make it so easy to do, and it's super easy to do on the internet. You send like the MLS listing over, we can look right at it and get it done within minutes.
Nice. Cool. So there you go. Get covered right away and don't get under covered, right?
Correct. A lot of times people say that they want to have their house insured for what they bought it for, but a lot of times that's different than what we go off of. We go off of reconstruction cost. So you might buy your house out of foreclosure for like $50,000, but the real value of the dwelling itself might be $150,000.
Yep.
And they ask, well, why are we insuring it for 3 times what we bought it for? Well, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
That leads to a great point. If you're buying cash, I've had a number of clients buy cash, and on the day of closing, they do not have insurance. It's not required when you're buying cash because you don't have the mortgage lender dictating the transaction, telling you, we need insurance. Where's the binder? So always make a note. Work with an agent who will remind you, a realtor who will remind you, also for yourself, remind you if you're buying a home cash,
Make sure
get
you
insurance ahead of time. It's one of those things that, it sounds obvious, but it can slip through the cracks.
Well, we were just talking on break kind of about that thing that happened in Rochester. Why don't you talk
Yeah,
about
house down in Rochester a week and a half ago. Family didn't have insurance on their house, and it ended up burning down. So now I think there were 7 people living in the house I saw. So all of them are homeless. Plus, I think they lost like 7 pets or something like that in the fire.
gosh.
No.
Plus all their stuff. So it could really end up being a few $100,000 of stuff that they lost. And it's easy to look by having insurance lapse, but that's why you have to have an agent taking a look at it. Our company, Farmers, we do a lot of things. We mail out a lot of stuff, keep everybody posted on emails if they miss a payment or something to make sure they don't have that lapse, because that would look bad on me. I don't want that to go through my agency.
So call Benny is great, and you can reach him 651-280-4195, 651-280-4195, Ben Nelson, and make sure, just give him a call to get a quote to make sure to see if you have enough insurance, number one. Number two, see if what you can do for your rate. There's lots of things that Ben can do that might be helpful for you. So I would definitely endorse Ben Nelson for sure. 651-280-4195, and then always remember cash closings. Get insurance ahead of time. It's not something you do, we close and then it's 2 days later, let's get insurance. You never know when whatever will happen will happen, right?
I'd rather spend $80 a month on insurance than $80,000 to have to rebuild your house out of pocket.
Yeah, even if they say, it's only $60,000, or you got it, you still should have it. I mean, I guess maybe there's an exception if it's just raw land, or of course if you're just going to tear the house down.
Right.
But then you're going to need a policy anyway to build. But anyway, get
Also,
insurance,
you don't
call
have
Ben.
liability if you don't have insurance on your house,
right.
which is even worse than than your house burning down if somebody were to sue you.
Yes. You have no liability coverage if something were to happen to someone. Yes. So call Ben Nelson, Farmers Insurance, 651-280-4195. Now, Robin Hartle, Josh Roueche, the aging population, the silver tsunami. For not to offend you, the loyal listeners out there, but there has been a phrase called the silver-haired tsunami, which refers to, of course, the aging population of retirees coming into the market. So looking here right now, I'm looking at some stuff that I pulled up that says that there's going to be a doubling of the 65-plus population over the next 40 years.
Yeah.
And that will shape the future demand for sustainable and suitable housing and supportive services, assisted living, a.k.a. There is a lot of that has to go on. So between 2010 and 2050, the 65-plus population is expected to rise from 1 in 7.7 to 1 in 5 people.
You want to invest in like a resting home or
That's what's needed.
we're gonna
Rochester, they got
a good investment.
huge assisted living projects going on there. I know there's a number of them in the Twin Cities, and I was telling Robin and Josh the other day, every week I talk to at least 3 people. When I call leads and I talk to people, or I call people that inquire in, at least 3 are in that age group, and they tell me, I've been here for 20 plus years. We are going to be downsized. We want to sell our home and move into something that's one level. But that is a big move. When you've think about it. If you've been in a house for 20 plus years, say 28 years, you have some expectations. You have some ideas. You have you're in the age where you know what you want. Then you go out in the market. You're not just going to say, there you go, one level. That's all. This is the place you're going to be for the next 20 years, right? So God willing. So that's where you really have to have something custom. That's why the builders have to get out there, I think, and really.
That's exactly it, Jason.
push
I think
this.
that's why we're having such a lack of inventory, because they have nowhere to go. Why would they put their house on the market when they
Yep.
have nowhere to go?
So they tough it out.
Yep.
What they do is they tough it out longer than they need to in the house.
Yep.
So if you're out there and you're thinking, I haven't found the place that I need to go to, so therefore I am unable to sell my home, call us. We can help. We have the inside
Yes.
track on a number of actual projects that are going on and things that are going on for single level, and we've also helped a number of people recently in your exact situation. 651-400-0773, 651-400-0773. 651-400-0773. Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh Roueche, Remax Advantage Plus.
The Stockwell Roueche Show every Sunday at 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. And Robin Hartle, do you have any more information to add to that?
Yeah,
I'm sure you
I'm
do.
looking at a Harvard study on the housing for the aging, and what's interesting is it says that even among individuals aged 80 and over, more than 3/4 live in their own homes. That aging in place is the preference of most people. And in a recent survey of 1,600 people aged 45 and older, AARP found that 73% strongly agreed that they would like to stay in their current residence as long as possible, while 67% strongly agreed that they would like to remain in their communities as long as possible. And so that also, indicates that not only do we need, housing, it talks about builders building homes for the aging, but it also talks to remodelers, because there's also going to be a
Yes.
strong demand
Yeah.
for remodeling the current home for people that want to stay in their home.
So what was that statistic about? So maybe the problem is that, they don't want, people don't want
They
to
don't
move.
wanna
You
move.
don't want to move from your home. If you've been there that long, you're right. You
They
probably
want to
don't.
stay.
Well,
So
we're
how
living-
many, what was
we're
it,
living
that wanted
longer,
to
too.
stay?
Yeah, it's 67% strongly agreed that they would like to remain in their community.
In the
as
community,
long as
how much,
possible.
do they give you a number on the house that
Yeah.
want to stay in the house?
Yeah, they said that 3/4 live in the 3/4 of the people say that they want to stay, that are aging, say that they want to stay in their current home.
In the current home.
Yeah.
Wow. So 75% want to stay in their current home, and 67% want to stay in their current community,
Yeah.
even if they moved.
Yeah.
So the problem I see is that a lot of the homes that are available aren't in the community that they are used to. So that's a big change. Yeah, I guess you're right. If I look at it, if I think about it, and if I've been somewhere that long and lived in that house, or I raised my kids, or had
Why
my
would
family,
you want to start over?
yeah, you're starting over. All the little quirky things about the house, you got to rediscover that in the new house, in the new place, and then you got to go into a new community that you may or may not know or like. You don't know the neighbors, you don't know the people. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like being married for 40, 50 years and not wanting to start over and go find somebody new.
That is
Kinda,
definitely what I'm
right?
saying, and that's
It's
what I
really a little bit.
recommend is that you
Right.
don't in that case. Housing, maybe, yeah, you can go, but marriage, maybe not.
Where's Casey?
So that, yeah.
But yeah, that's some powerful statistics. So that calls out to the remodelers restructuring the home,
Yeah.
making a home that has stairs. Maybe you have a 2-story and you try to get everything in laundry. You move the laundry up from the basement to the main, or from the upper to the main, and then you make the main level a bedroom, and then have the upper for your family, as opposed to
Maybe you had to add an addition on so that you have maybe some kind of bedroom on that, add on so that you have a bedroom. on the
However,
main
if it's
floor.
let's say it's your family home. Let's say you did raise a family there with kids. Mm-hmm. You could have a 4,000 square foot 5-bedroom home.
For two of you.
You really probably, even though you want to stay and you want to stay in the
too much to
community, you want to stay in the home,
manage. Right.
that home doesn't make sense for you. You're
doesn't.
wasting money on electricity,
That's right.
gas, just taxes and all the things you're paying for in that home.
Mm-hmm.
That home would be better suited for the next family. Give them the chance in there,
That's right.
and then you go into something else. So there really is a demand for that. But anyway, those are amazing statistics that people really do want to stay, and that makes sense. Once you're comfortable and you like something, of course you want to stay there. So I completely understand that. You're listening to the Stockwell Roueche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh Roueche, Remax Advantage Plus.
Lack of housing for the aging population is our show today and our topic. We talked about a lot of the problems thus far, yet we need to get to the solutions. So what? So if
Solutions.
you're listening out there, you're probably thinking, yeah, we know the issue, we know the problem, we know the things, we know the reasons. but what are the solutions and where are the solutions? So when we come back, we'll be diving into solutions and giving some more numbers and statistics on the lack of housing for the aging population. Hopefully find you something that will work. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh Roueche, Remax Advantage Plus.
We'll be back soon.
And it's sure been a cold, cold winter. And the wind. Yo, VIP.
Josh Roueche, stop dancing, please, and lip singing.
This is my guy back in the day.
You're listening to the Stockwell Roueche Show. We're back. I don't know if that ties into Ice Ice Baby, or this will tie into Ice Ice Baby with
Ice. It's cold
Ice
outside.
Ice Baby
It's really
Boomers.
cold outside.
but
Falling.
this is from
Falling,
a parody,
ice.
Falling
on
ice.
Browning's Rabbi Ben Ezra, it's called. But what it's called is about the planning for the aging population. And what he says, this is quote, "Grow old along with me, and we shall live to be the object of research by council, chest, and church. For look, the world's front paging, the everlasting aging." So what he's saying is that we are so focused on this aging population, and they're making the, everybody's wondering, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And everything like that. And he says, planning for all age groups is an inevitable principle. In practice, however, planners have been unduly preoccupied with certain age groups, like the post-war housing boom. The approach to community development and planning has been child or family-centered. Most significant advances in schools and recreation planning and subdivision design, and even in the neighborhood planning, sprang originally from the concept of the needs of the young family with children. So that's where the focus, that's what historically has been done. So that's when planners come in to do planning, they say, oh, we're going to do it with city planners even. They come in, they look, they say, oh, this is how we're going to plan our development, focused on that, which
Senior
has
living.
been the focus of. Now, my question is for you out there listening and for the panel here of you guys, is that the right focus now with the change in the population? I mean, we have a lot of families that don't have children. We have a lot of single people. We have a lot of aging people. Is that still the center focus? Is the family still the center focus? And that could go to a cultural question as well, but from a housing standpoint, is that something that everybody should be focusing on? Or should they be looking at, maybe the solution would be looking at setting up your housing structure and your communities differently?
Well, I think the statistics you showed earlier about how our older population is increasing, and the lack of housing supply. I think if we focus a little bit there, it's going to open up the inventory for all these other first-time home buyers or move-up buyers to move into these properties. And I think that should be one of the focuses in our communities, is providing that type of housing for our older community. We
I
do
would
that.
completely agree.
I think we open the door up for our inventory and allowing other people to move.
I
into
think
these homes.
my opinion too would be part of the solution is for the aging population. If you're out there, or you are out there and you're active, but get involved. Your city, wherever you live, they have a planning committee, and they have a city planner, and they have a lot of things. And those city planners are usually, 30, 40-year-olds. They have families. Their focus is still centered on this post-war theory that we build our city around families, which makes sense structurally probably, but it may not fit today's needs. Have a voice, call into the city, call to the planner, attend some of the city planning meetings, and say, hey, where are the seniors going? Where are the aging population? Where are we going to be able to go? I know you're building this development. You're going to have all these wonderful things for the kids and the families, but where are we going to be? Where do we fit in? Are we just going to have to find and make our own way and with whatever's available?
You think about the Twin Cities, and you think about these older neighborhoods, say like St. Louis Park, Edina. People haven't really moved from those areas. Why?
Yeah.
They
Yeah, they
haven't,
don't. Yep.
because they have nowhere to really go.
Right.
And that's just, those areas, we're not seeing a lot of new listings take place because they're older areas. There's no dirt there. But the young people would love to live in that area, and they would love to buy in that area. There's
Get
just nowhere to
involved
buy.
with the planners. I would say, because for example, in Edina, they're doing a whole deal on Grandview Square, and they're open to opinions. And Edina has a ton of stuff for kids. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody in Edina here, but they have a ton of stuff for kids. but people are proposing that be something like for sports, for kids and stuff. That may be good. But also, what about that aging population? Maybe I'm just throwing it out there. There should be something thrown in, or somehow they should be a piece, probably a big piece, more than 11% available housing for them. They're probably a larger portion of the population in many cities. That aging population is than other segments.
Well, and the aging, they want to move back into the cities. If they're living out in the suburbs, they're all moving back in because they want to be close to the doctors. They want to be close to shopping. They want to be closer to all those conveniences because maybe they're not driving anymore. And we just moved some clients into a condo. And they didn't live very far away from the condo that they actually moved into, but they liked the fact that they were moving into a place where they had a heated garage and they didn't have to do the shoveling and everything anymore. But in that space, we were talking to a lot of people that lived there, a lot of the older residents in that same building, and a lot of them said, well, we don't drive after 5 p.m. during the winter because it's too dark out. In the summertime, maybe we drive more because, in the evening because it's lighter out and that kind of thing. So you think about these things, and I didn't even think about that maybe they have one driver that they all carpool or they take a bus together to go to the mall and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So,
those things are important. I think the main factor, too, as you age, if you're out there listening and you're in that aging population, is you want to be close to the hospitals and doctors and care. There may be you're obviously not as nimble as you were. Your body may not do what it could do before. Your mind might not be doing what it's doing before. You may be on prescriptions or may need prescriptions. You need to take care of yourself. We have a great medical system that can take care of you and help you, but you don't want to have to drive to get there. Because what if you're unable to drive, like you said, or you don't want to drive, or you don't feel comfortable driving after dark? I see it. I hear that a lot due to the vision stuff. So the cities, when you go into these cities, and you gotta. This is something that has to come from the people, is to let them know, hey, we love families. Don't get me wrong. We love kids. We love all that. But our population is set up so much differently than it was post-war. Yep. Not everybody goes and gets married and has kids. Not everybody. Even gets married, not every, and there's a lot of aging population, so we got to factor that in. So that's my piece of recommendation as far as one solution is to go and voice with them, to have a voice with the city planners, the commissioners, the people that are involved in the housing authority. Robin went on to a bunch of other ones on break as far as physically changing your home. Now let's switch gears for you out there. Let's say you say, hey, I'm one of the 75% that want to stay in my home, and I'm also included in that 67% that want to stay in my community, in my own home. What can I do to my home that will make it accommodate me, and how much will it cost?
There's a lot of those ramblers, those rambler-style homes that the older people are still living in.
Love ramblers.
We see those little ramblers in the Edina, St. Louis Park,
Richfield has a ton of them.
Richfield.
All over.
And we see a lot of the people that are living in those, and they say, I want to stay here as long as I can. And there's a lot of really easy improvements, accessibility improvements that you can make to those type of homes in order to stay there as long as you can. And I just pulled up some real, easy improvements that you can make for a price from well under $1,000 for installation of grab bars and grips in bathrooms, handrails on both sides of steps, and lever-style handles on doors and faucets, to $800 to $1,200 for each door widened. So if you widen, for widening doors, it can cost between $800 and $1,200 to widen doors, $1,600 to $3,200 for wheelchair ramps. So to add a wheelchair ramp, between $1,600 and $3,200, and if you need a stair lift. So maybe you have some stairs in
Seen
the
those
home.
commercials
You're
on late night,
thinking of, maybe a stair lift.
Yep.
And my in-laws were thinking about that because
Yep.
they have a 2-story home, and they're thinking, well, maybe we'll just add a stair lift between $3,000 and $12,000, depending on what kind of stair lift that you get. It can be between $3,000 and $12,000 for one of those stair lifts. So, and then there's things that you can do, remodeling projects for the bathroom and kitchen renovations and things like that. So then you can talk to a remodeler about those as well.
So those are some great tips. You could also do, of course, you could add a master bath. You could widen that. One of the things that we want to talk about, I think it'll be fun to talk about next segment. Maybe it won't be fun, but we'll see.
As he grins,
is why should you, if you are considering, let's say you're one of the silver-haired Tsunami, or you're a older person that's aging. Let's put it more correctly there.
Yeah,
let's say you're an older person who's aging. You're looking for housing, or you're thinking of making a move. Why would you make a move? Number one, and then let's talk about some of the dynamics of that move. As far as usually, let's say there's two parties. Not to say that couples always go in the same line. There might be a stubborn party that wants to stay, and there might be someone that wants to go. How do you get through that? That's we do. I mean, that's a relationship deal. We can get into
we deal with that a
relationships.
lot,
We're the Stockwell
right?
Roueche relationship real estate show.
yes.
So
We've got a couch.
we have with us Ben Nelson, Farmers Insurance, 651-280-4195. Call him. Lisa Swanson, Envoy Mortgage, 612-990-2271. Call her. Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Josh Roueche, RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
We'll be back.
I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold, I'm so cold. I'm so cold, I'm so cold. You are so warm, my wintertime love to be.
Lovely song. I love that song.
I love how the seasons drop, all these different songs.
Thank you,
about-
Chris, back there. He is awesome on the sound today with the cold weather. We are trying to keep it fun. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Josh Roueche, RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
Stockwell Roueche show every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. here on the Patriot. Lack of housing for the aging population. Before break, we talked about a lot of solutions that you could do, and also now we want to talk about how do you do it? How is the process of doing that emotionally? Other than just saying simply, oh, yeah, we're going to move. How do you do that? First, some statistics for you that I've got. This is from nhc.org, which is a source from the U.S. Census Bureau. Here's what they say real quickly. Projections for the change in population by age for the United States, 2010 to 2050. So over a 40-year span. The under 18 population will grow by 35%. 18 to 44, 32%. 45 to 64, the lowest percentage growth of 21%. So we have 35% for the young ones, 32% for the middle-aged, and then the kind of 45 to 65, 20%. 65 and older. This is you out there, our loyal listeners, 65 and older. 120% growth in the same time frame.
Whoa.
That will grow from 40 million to
Holy cow.
88 million. That is a large percentage of growth. It still will not be the largest segment in number overall of the society as far as number of people, that 88 million, but it'll be the largest growth segment.
Yeah.
The largest segment will be the 18 to 44. They are going to be at 150 million people. So there's a lot of numbers. I don't know if you have a pen out there and writing these things down, but amazing statistics as far as the number of population that is the growth of is 120% growth in that particular segment of population, and a lot of it has to be attributed to the life expectancy. You know, we have the medical technology and the ability to live longer. But back to the topic: lack of housing and how do you make the move? So, husband and wife together for how many years? Raise a family together. They might have certain things that they have developed that they like in that way, right? They might be particularly stubborn. They might not.
We
be
run
stubborn.
into that a lot. We do.
How do you get them to make the move? Let's say that someone wants to say, we need to do this now. And I'd be a proponent of this. I would say do it now before you are forced to do it due to a health issue or some other issue or a financial issue.
Yeah.
before the finances get pinched where you have to do it, or before your health gets pinched or compromised so you have to move. How do you do it? How do you convince someone, Robin?
I think it's hard psychologically with people because they either spent a long many years in this home. They raised a family in this home, and they may have kids that are saying, "Oh, you can't sell our home. We all grew up in that home."
And then you got the dynamics of the kids. Those darn kids.
The kids are saying, "You can't sell our home. What are you going to do?" I grew up in that house.
Or they're saying, "If you sell the home, where's my money, Robin?"
So then there's that. Or maybe they finally found their dream home. They worked all those years to finally find that dream home, and they finally found that, and now they have to give that up because they're too old to maintain
it's
that
an emotional
dream.
deal.
Yeah.
And
All
they're
the memories, all the birthdays, all the Christmases, all the
Yes.
holidays, all the projects that you did to the house. You put love into this home, and you don't want some realtor to come in there and tell you it's worth X, Y, or X because to you it's worth
way
a
more.
heck of a lot more than that. That's the problem. So keep in mind, we as realtors, when we come in and tell you that, we're not trying to offend you. We know that there's memories there. We know. However,
we're going based off what's going on in this certain area.
buyers
based
don't-
off what's going on in that area. That's what we have to go by
We
because that's
do.
what's going to actually sell your home.
and the buyers don't buy on your memories, unfortunately. They want to create their own. So don't be offended when the realtors come in and give you bids or prices that, not give you bids, but give you numbers that don't match with what you have in it. We know you have a lot of memories in there, and it's an emotional deal. So,
but it's tough because we don't want to see what could happen, especially this time of year when you have ice and you're out there shoveling. And there's all of these things that could possibly happen. We have statistics out there. In 2010, 2.3 million older adults were treated for non-fatal fall injuries in emergency departments, with roughly 29% resulting in hospitalization. Injuries from falls often reduce mobility and independence, and the decrease in physical activity post-injury raises the likelihood of other falls. And so once they have this fall, now they can't do as many things anymore. So now, coming back home, they can't go up those stairs
there's
anymore.
a lot of maintenance on houses, too.
So now, all the bedrooms are upstairs. I'm dealing with this right now with my in-laws. They have a 2-story home, and it's a big colonial home. It's over 3,000 square feet, and they're older. Now they have to do all this maintenance outside. All the bedrooms upstairs, they're getting to the point where they can't climb those stairs anymore. And what's going to happen if they get to the point where one of them falls, and now they have to move a bed downstairs into the living room and sleep downstairs? How hard is it going to be for them to now have to sell that home when they have to move a bed downstairs and make a bedroom down in the living room?
Functionality issue.
It's going to be really hard to try to sell a home when they've got a bed down in the living room.
And it's just like anything. We talked about this on our other show. The sooner, so not to say rush, I don't want to rush you into this, but if you've been thinking about it, if you've really considered this for 6 months or 6 years, if you've been considering this, make the move, take the first steps, because the sooner you actually do the move and it's over, the relief will set in. You'll get accustomed to your new setting, your new place. You'll have all the headaches that you didn't want to have to deal with before with the maintenance or the finances or whatever it may be on your home will be alleviated. And then as far as convincing your spouse or your partner to do this with you, I don't know how to do that, actually. I mean, I'm not a relationship expert.
We're all sitting there.
I think
it's
it's
like
just a matter of
hand-cutting.
sitting down and having conversations and talking about it and doing the pros and cons of
Exactly,
what you
pros
want to
and
do, pros
cons,
and cons, and what you're going to do.
Yes.
Why are we going to stay here versus why we're not going to stay here?
Right.
What's best for us? Do a pros and cons. Have conversation. It's tough because when we go out on listings, we run into this issue a lot. I do anyway.
Yep.
Where a husband and wife will sit down and they'll say, you know what, the wife wants to move, she wants change, but the husband doesn't want to, or it's vice versa.
You can just tell by the body language when they're sitting at the
tell,
table.
right?
Leaning back.
And we go from realtor to psychiatry.
Psychiatrist, yes.
So it's just a matter of talking it out, asking questions, listen your pros and cons, and figuring out what's best for you. And we're there to help too. We're there to help give you the proper information on what's best for you. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we're here to weigh it out there so you guys can make that decision.
And
together.
also give you the options, because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have to find my place first before I can even consider putting my home on the market. Now, that may or may not be the case. You can put your home on the market, and there's some things you can do with your home on the market to still give you time to find the place that you want. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, or peel an onion, I should say. I don't want to skin a cat.
I hate onions.
But and then with the kids, if one of if they're saying, well, gosh, we don't want you to get rid of the home. That's the home I grew up in. Maybe the solution to that is maybe one of the kids wants to buy the home.
Yes.
And that was
just
something
happened
that
with
just happened with one of our clients. The son
as
bought the
long
home.
as it's fair and equitable for all parties. We want to keep that in mind all the time. So I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Josh Roueche, RE/MAX Advantage
This
Plus.
is the Stockwell Roueche Show. Thank you, loyal listeners. I want to thank our wonderful partners, Lisa Swanson with Envoy Mortgage, 612-990-2271. She is awesome. Ben Nelson with Farmers Insurance. He is also equally awesome. 651-280-4195. 651-280-4195. Thanks for listening about this lack of housing for the aging population. Hopefully we provided some solutions for you. You can call us anytime, 651-400-0773, 651-0773. Hopefully I didn't leave you with too many numbers there. Next week, predictions for 2015. Karnak will be here. Predictions for 2015 in the housing and mortgage industry. Love yourself and love others.